Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night Hall versus Strickland. Overall, it was a good night of fights, but we get down to the business, which is there are no injustices on this card. That's a good thing. That's always a great thing. But once again, we're always talking about the honorable mentions and scorecards that are just annoying to the eye. In this fight, there was nothing crazy. There was a few things, and we'll talk about that, but a lot of close rounds. There's a lot of close rounds that could have gone either way. On my notes, in the Benoit versus Adashev fight, that third round was pretty close. Some of them don't matter in terms of how it could have switched the outcome of the fight, but some of them do matter. In my opinion, the Chavez versus Kamaka fight, the last two rounds were very close in deciding what could have happened. The Gruetzemacher and Garcia fight, the first round and the third round were very close, that they could have gone either way. And other than that, everything else went kind of smooth, but we still do have honorable mentions, and once again, no injustices. Every scorecard was correct ultimately. But we start with the first fight. So that's the first honorable mention is Benoit versus Adashev. I had it 30-27, Adashev. Like I said before, that third round was very close. So, I don't really have a problem with whoever scored it, but the judges had it. Eric Lund had it 30-27. Ron McCarthy had it 29-28. And Tony Weeks had it 30-27. So, again, usually in this instance, if it wasn't close, I probably would have said honorable mention for Ron McCarthy. But it was very close. It was very close. I scored it 30-27, but it was very close to the point where there is an honorable mention for Ron McCarthy. The scorecards are fun. I just wanted to mention that because, anytime the scorecard looks different from mine, I try and analyze it just to make sure. That third one was very close on the feet, but I gave the edge to Adashev. So there was that. Second honorable mention, Chavez versus Kamaka. The last two rounds were very close. The first one, very little action. But Chavez got. It's pretty clear who won that, in my opinion. Very, very, very clear. Chavez got a takedown in that first round, and they both kind of traded leg kicks. I thought it was pretty clear who won that round. But the scorecards kind of tell a different story because, I don't know. I just don't know what they see sometimes. Sometimes I'm a little confused. We'll start off with the first round. So I thought that was the clearest round by far. And two judges, I take that back actually. One judge, and that's Jaron Villel, who I believe is a ref in Vegas. But we haven't seen him ref in a while, and he's doing scorecards. And I just want to say, I like his scorecard. I really like his scorecard. I mean, if they don't let him ref again, which, I understand the last time he refed it was a little bad, whatever. But if they don't let him ref again, I like his scorecard. So if he ever hears this, which I doubt, hopefully not. But if he ever hears this, I do like his scorecard. So shout out to Jared Villel to me, a very perfect scorecard. But to the other people who aren't refs and are just scorecard people, this shit pisses me off. So in that first, they Mike Bell and Junichiro Kamijo give it 10-9 to Kamaka. Dude, I'm fucking confused, dude. I don't know how you give it 10-9 to Kamaka in the first. I'm whatever. I don't know what they saw, but that's not a 10-9 to him. We go to the second, where it's very close. I'm not mad if anybody had scored it for Chavez. in that second round. But in that second round, it was very close on the feet, and to my eyes, I gave the edge to Kamaka. He was more aggressive, and I believe he landed the more shots than Chavez did. And so I gave him the 10-9. All three judges gave him the 10-9 as well, and also minus the point for the groin kick. So that's a 9-9 in that round. And then the last round, which again is also very close. I wouldn't be mad if someone gave it the opposite way also. Again, despite most of that round in the clinch, I think Kamaka landed more shots. And so I gave him that third round. The other judges, it's kind of flimsy. So Jaron Villel gave it to him, gave him the 10-9. Mike Bell gave him the 10-9. And then Camijo gives him, he gives Chavez the 10-9. I'm more mad at, Camijo's scorecard. I think that I know I just said that third one is very close, but that first round he put makes the scorecard really ugly for me. I feel as though he gave that last round to the wrong person, but either way, it doesn't matter because it ends up as a majority draw, which was the right one, which was the right way to go. So it all ended out well, but an honorable mention to Camijo and Bell for that first round. I didn't like the way they scored that. All right, to the next one, which is Barbarena versus Jason Witt. I had it 30-27 for Witt, and then Mike Bell had it 29-27. We'll get to that. Rick Winter had it 29-28, and Tony Weeks had it 28-28. So we're going to dissect this first. I don't think we need to talk about the first two. The first two are pretty clear, right? It all comes down to the last round. Now, I gave a 10-9 to Witt in that last round. I'm going to give myself an honorable mention because as I look at the judges' scorecards, all three had it for Barbarena. I think they gave it to him based off of him dropping Jason Witt twice. I think that's their rationale. Excuse me. I think that's the rationale. I gave it to him based off the fact that he had 4 takedowns. I could be wrong in this. I think I'll accept that I'm probably wrong in this, but I think I would score that. I think I would score it like that if that round happened exactly the same way it did. I think I would score it that way. I don't know why, but I'll have to talk to somebody or get that fixed somehow. But either way, I'll give it myself an honorable mention for that third round. Another honorable mention I'll give, even though I want to give the other ones an honorable mention for scoring that last one, but I can't because they all scored it the same way. So maybe it's most likely me missing something here. But there is one obvious person that looks different in this round, and that's Tony Weeks, who gave it 10-8. Now, this is what's confusing. I can sit here and understand if you telling me that Barbarena won the last round. I can get that. I can understand that. I cannot understand you telling me it's 10-8. Because, yes, he rocked him twice. Let's say it was just a striking affair and he rocked him twice. I could get behind that, maybe. I could get behind that. But not only have we seen rounds where, well, I don't think we've seen rounds where people have been rocked twice and it's a stand-up affair, and people have been rocked twice and it's a 10-9. I don't think I've seen that. But what we shouldn't see is someone gets rocked twice, and not only is Witt throwing back and landing, but he then lands 4 takedowns in the round. at least it's a 10-9. That's at least and at most. Or, you know what I meant. At most. It's at most a 10-9. Okay? It's at most a 10-9. And for it to be a 10-8, I think that's bad. I think that's terrible. So, an honorable mention to Tony Weeks and to me for my 10-9 to Witt and for his 10-8 to Barbarina in that third round. And then the last honorable mention, which I didn't think I should have to do, but when they read out the scorecards, I was kind of... that didn't make any sense to me at all, actually. The last one is Hall versus Strickland. I had it 50-45, and as I was watching it, I was thinking to myself, because I they do that thing where they bring up the tweets of the people scoring it, and while that is a little annoying, I hate that, actually. I saw a scorecard that said 3-1, and to myself I was thinking, listen, this is 3. I assume this was the fourth round. He put 3-1. So in my head I was thinking the closest round is the second. And as I look at the scorecards, I was right, because Junichiro Kamijo gave 50-45 for Strickland, and then you look at Eric Colon and he gave a 10-9. His scorecard was a 49-46 for Strickland, but he gave a 10-9 to Hall in the second. Now, that fight was, I get it, but not really, because it's obvious that Strickland had landed more shots than Hall in that round, but Hall was probably the most competitive in that round. So I can see if a judge saw it that way. I get that, but I disagree wholeheartedly. And then Mike Bell had it 50-44 with a 10-8 that I don't like. It's one of those weird 10-8s. It's you gave a 10-8 in the third, and in that third round, Strickland outstruck him, and he got 2 takedowns. Here's what I don't like about the 10-8. These 10-8s aren't consistent. It's not as though they give these sort of 10-8s on other fights like these, where people get outstruck and then they get taken down twice. By the way, these takedowns were just regular routine takedowns. Hall got up, and it was another takedown. Man, I believe Hall got up. I can't remember if he got up from the second one. But it's not a 10-8. Listen, overall, Strickland dominated this fight 100%. But in terms of and you could argue he dominated these rounds, but not enough for it to be a 10-8, in my opinion. So if there's any honorable mention, it's probably Mike Bell and Eric Colon for round 2 on Eric Colon's part and round 3 on Mike Bell's part. Overall, great night of fights. A lot of these fights, there were some close rounds, but easy scorecards. The scorecards came in and they were all correct. And when I say all correct, I mean in total. So that's really good. Thank you for listening, and God bless.